All right. How's everybody doing out there today? This is Gold Pilled here with the Gold Pilled stream. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about some YouTube channels. I was originally going to make this video kind of specifically about my favorite YouTube channel, or channels, I should say. They have a kind of a backup, and that's Pockets of the Future and Apocalypse Now, Pockets of the Future. But when I was scrolling through my YouTube subscription list, I seen a couple things that I kind of wanted to point out and share with you guys, in case you were interested, or maybe to expand your mind on some of the other points, I'm going to point out here. So let's talk about all the little stuff first, and then we'll talk about Pockets of the Future. So let's go over to YouTube. I'll share my screen, and all right. So here's my subscriber list, and the first thing I noticed immediately, if you watched my it was my one YouTube video about my history or whatnot on there. We went down through my subscriber list, and whenever we did that a month ago or so, a call for an uprising had 4 channels. And I mentioned how, I don't know how he has 4 channels all named the same. And I'm pretty sure that a call for an uprising is IIA operations, some kind of intel asset. All the red flags are there. He's given information in some of his live streams he used to do that have thrown up red flags and connected dots. And when he would do live streams, he deletes them after. He doesn't leave them posted, so that info gets lost. So if you don't catch it in real time, you don't see it. But now, currently, a call for an uprising has 5 channels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But wait, go down a little bit more. 6 channels. Call for an uprising with no A in the front. So this guy has 6 YouTube channels, and he can rack up a subscriber base very quickly just by doing a little video and saying subscribe to my new channel. That's how many followers he has. So this guy has 6 different channels, and YouTube permits this. He says he uses burner phones and stuff. I'm sure he'd probably be using VPN, but he'd have to switch it for like every channel. And I do believe if YouTube wanted to, they would put the hammer down on him and wipe him off completely. But they don't. And that's because he's permitted to be on here. He's allowed to be on here, and he's likely on here because he's controlled. One of the dots that I connected with him is he's kind of been connected to other YouTube channels. I don't know if they were friends or if they ever gotten together in real life, but I mentioned how so a lot of the truthers, they have their own little cliques. And a call for an uprising, he was in a clique, and one channel that seemed he was pretty tight with and supported was Richie from Boston, or is it Richie from Langley? I'm not sure, but yeah, Richie from Boston. And I do believe he gave him a shout out before, and if he didn't, Richie from Boston I think has given a call for an uprising shout outs before. So they're part of the behind the scenes clique, him and Richie. And some new information on Richie, which I've been calling him Richie from Langley for some time now, because that dude is so obviously an IIA operation. Probably just direct intel agent. Excuse me. And he seems like the type of character that probably got picked up on some charges. Um, Probably pursuing young women charges. And to get out of it, it's serve us on the internet here, pushing flat Earth and all the other BS Richie from Langley does. And he's probably one of the most despised channels to me, Richie from Boston. His content is so low IQ that it's maddening. Like, I feel like my brain cells are dying watching his content. And I avoid him anymore. I used to watch it just so I could call him out in the comments and try to wake some people up to him. But he plays the Jeebus card, and people gobble it up and love it. They love it. And they also love the Flat Earth card. I have no idea why. But that is so blatantly government psyops. But anyway, back to Richie and his connection with the call. Well, I found out here recently that Richie's real tight buddy, Montegraph, if you ever heard of Montegraph on YouTube, I always kind of considered Montegraph as like Richie's handler. And, well, in a video with Jim Lee on Quite Frankly, Jim used to be part of Anonymous. And he's good at computers, can be considered a hacker. Well, at one point, he was targeted on YouTube as like a harassment campaign, and the leader doing this targeting was Montegraph. And Jim knew somebody somewhere that he asked, inquired about this Montegraph, and apparently Montegraph is an FBI asset. So, if Montegraph's an FBI asset, and, he was behind, trolling, discrediting campaign against Jim Lee, and then he has, Richie from Boston under his umbrella, and I'm sure there's quite a few other channels. From the way Jim said, they had, like 1,000 channels for like spamming and trolling and bots. So there's other people under his umbrella. Well, there's the FBI asset. He's, the handler to Richie, just like I thought. That kind of confirmed it for me. That, Richie from Langley, and then Richie's tight with the call for an uprising. So, you gotta watch. If you don't put in the time to do as much researching as I have, you'll never pick up on this stuff. You'll never connect these dots. You'll never see these behind the scenes clicks. And, you won't realize that probably most of the people you're listening to is just intel operations, psyops, psychological operations, controlling your thinking and controlling, the supposed real world narrative that, is being perceived in your mind. They have a lockdown on this internet and the internet truth community. And, the best propaganda is truth, half-truths, and lies, just like old Mr. Theme said in that DEFCON speech. So they got you under control, and this is a call for an uprising here. I know his subscribers and supporters, they just love the Jeebus card he plays. It's all the Jeebus card. So, a big problem we have in the truth community is the, right-wing leaning conservative Christians. They make up a huge demographic in the United States. And unfortunately, they're probably one of the most gullible and trusting demographics also. So a large chunk of the truth community is completely duped because they see the Jeebus card and, they're all in. The Bible is the spoken word of God. And, I'm probably not going to win any support, for speaking the truth as I've discerned it. But I'm not going to pander to anybody. I'm going to call it as I see it. You come to your own conclusions. I'm just trying to help and, get people to another level, get people to gold pill level. And we're going to talk a little more about religion when we get the pockets of the future here at the end. So, all right, so let's move on from a call. He just repeats the same fear porn, end of the world, doomsday, revelations come in, Jeebus, Jeebus, and go to my website and pay me $3 a month. So, and here is the channel I mentioned yesterday. I gave a shout out to Alex Shill Jones. That's what he named his new channel. He only 273 subscribers. He seems like he got a good head on his shoulders. So if you want to check him out, he genuinely seems like a grassroots, organic person, just like I am. We have, no mystery checks coming in. We have no behind-the-scene production team. We're just an ordinary person out there that, can see things a little better maybe than most, and, want to share the information that we've garnered. So I check him out, and he has another channel. It's way at the bottom of my list. It's called Unbully the Internet. And it's kind of like a troll channel. Like I said, it's for lulz. So those are his two channels. Now here is the kind of a backup channel for Pockets of the Future. It's called Apocalypse Now, Pockets of the Future. He posts to both channels, so it's not like this is strictly, a backup. So he posts to here and he posts to his main one, but we'll get into talking about him here in a little bit. I want to scroll down and show you guys something else. Oh, I want to point out here, Blackpilled. Old Devin Stack. He doesn't post here on YouTube anymore. He streams on Odyssey, I think, now. And you can catch his uploaded videos on BitChute or Odyssey after he's done. But he was kind of supporting old Nick Fuentes the other day when Super Chat asked a question about him. And some documentary or something, and they were fans of Nick Fuentes, and Devin's like, oh yeah, Nick Fuentes, he's willing to talk about subjects, nobody else are, he's a good one, pandering to his Super Chat givers. And, Devin's a smart guy, and he got some good insight on the propaganda and the race propaganda that they push to demonize white America. So he's a smart guy, but he's ignorant to this stuff. Why? It's either for the shekels or it's intentional. And with the way the internet truth community is, I lean toward most everything is probably IIA now, or allowed by IIA. But he didn't call out Nick Fuentes at all. And I'm going to call him out because I just seen a bunch of clips, that show Nick Fuentes for who he is. So first off, Nick Fuentes is supposed to be leading a group called America First. There's your right-wing conservative Christian, pandering, playing the two-party paradigm. They're on the Republican side. And, well, first let me say, Nick Fuentes, he is not America First. This dude is an intel agent. IIA operation, PSYOP, guaranteed. And the funny thing is, there's a video clip out there where he's saying what America First stands for, and they are anti-gay. Well, he's leading a group that's anti-gay, but I'm almost certain that old Nicky Fuentes is a closet homosexual himself. And you can pick up on that with another video of him where he goes to like a Chick-fil-A or something and has lunch with some very feminine, clearly gay cat boy. The dude is like literally kind of dressed up as a cat. And they have just casual, lightly flirtations the entire lunch, giggling and caring about. And That's not anti-gay there, Nick Fuentes. And then he just had a speech with, because, they're getting ready for, election, season and stuff, and, ramping up the right-wing conservative Republican Christians, to ready to vote harder, come on, Trump train again. But in that speech, he says that the secret sauce to the America First group, the secret sauce is all you young white males out there. That's that's Nick Fuentes' secret sauce. All the young white males. And he said it in such a gay way. Like, I can't even believe he actually said that, because it's so clear. It is so clear what he meant by that. And, like, it's almost like the controllers are just rubbing it in your face. Like, they're picking a handful of feces up off the ground and just smearing it right in your nose, right in your face, laughing at you the entire time as they completely dupe you and fool you with all this ridiculous two-party paradigm, right-wing conservative Christian value, just psyops. They have so many people completely duped with this that they can pretty much come out and tell you to your face that you're being lied to. And then the ordinary sheep out there would just go, bah, no, I'm not. You're not lying to me. No. Bah. It's pathetic. They're telling it to your face. Nick Fuentes' secret sauce for America First is the young white males. Oh, he likes him some young white males. Their secret sauce. What else did he say? They're big Putin supporters. They're champion Putin. I do believe Nick Fuentes at one point said, would it be so bad if Russia rose to power like the power the U.S. has? They are playing a number on people's brains and minds and the way they perceive the world. It's terrible. It's having a big effect on people, and the fact that people believe it is terrible. It's, like I said, the low IQs, the dropping intelligence, they're just going to keep going down. IQ points are going to just keep getting shaved off every day it goes by. When we're literally going to be an idiocracy. The movie Idiocracy, if you haven't seen it, watch it. Pretty soon everyone will be sitting at the movies or streaming, and it'll just be a picture of an ass scratching himself, farting every now and again. And that's just hilarious comedy to everybody, because that's how low IQ they'll be. So that's my little rant for Black Pilled and old Nick Fuentes. Guys, you gotta think higher. You gotta see the forest, not the trees. Gold pilled. Remember, gold pilled. Get on gold pilled, you see all this. Our old buddy Blackstone, Jake Morphonios, he's been back at it now with his Ukraine deep dives, because he's so knowledged on geopolitics. Back pandering for some shekels, but was gone for years. Wonder how he was making his money. So, alright. Let's see. There's your call. I want to point out Climate Viewer here. Now, this is Jim Lee's YouTube channel. The hacker that I mentioned that was on Quite Frankly's channel. He just did a video about Anonymous, because he was in Anonymous. Excuse me. And they were asking, well, where's Anonymous at? Why haven't, they made an appearance through this whole C-19, lockdown, fighting for the people? Well, apparently Anonymous is never going to come on the side of the truth community. Apparently, most of Anonymous is currently state asset. And the rest of Anonymous is willingly state asset. They lean to the left, and they pretty much support the state, and the leftist ideology, pretty much lefty Marxist ideology. So Anonymous is not on our side. And it wasn't 48 hours after they did that interview last week that this Russia thing started, and Anonymous is standing up and they're bringing down Russian websites. And then Hillary Clinton went in an interview and actually called Anonymous out specifically and pretty much, asked them to, go fight with Russia. So, I don't know how much of a coincidence that is, but it seems like Anonymous is state asset and lefty Marxism all the way now. And if you've seen the clip of that one weirdo, that Aubrey hacker who was part of Anonymous, but not an important part, but he was laying claim to hacking Give Send Go and other places and doxing all the donation givers. So that's your Anonymous clique working for the state and pretty much doxing, the truthers standing up against this tyranny. So Jim Lee, he seems to be a decent source of information, mainly weather related. But there's always possibility. He was a hacker, and then he went straight. He tells you the story in that interview if you want to go catch it on. Quite frankly, did he really just go straight? Or is he state asset? And they want him, pushing this weather changing stuff. I don't know. You have to come to your own conclusion on that. I lean towards he's a little more genuine. But I want to show you his climate viewer here. Because he has a website called Climate Viewer, which is right here. And he has a bunch of info and stuff up here. But the main attraction is right here. You go to Map. When you click on Map, it comes over here to this page. And to start, you have a map list. And you can do alerts and weather. He has 92 maps, satellite images, 316 maps, and history and science, 231 maps. These are overlays. So when you click on them, they'll overlay on the map for you and show you stuff. Now, he's put an extensive amount of time in building this. And according to him, he hand-coded everything himself. I guess all the current stuff out there that he could have used to put this together was all targeted or hacked or messed with from certain agencies, I guess, not wanting this put together. So he hand-coded everything, in order for it to be able to be up here and untouched and unmessed with. So I went to history and science here, opened it up, and they have all these categories. I went to government, opened it up, and I clicked on two layovers or layouts here. The first one is the Department of Homeland Security Fusion Center, then the Five Eyes Stone Ghost Surveillance Network. So those are the two layovers. So the white and blue ones are the fusion centers, and the red pyramid eyes are the Five Eyes centers. So you can look here in the U.S. Look how many fusion centers they have around here. And all those fusion centers are gathering the data in that area. They're watching people, gathering all the data, connecting the pieces, and then all these fusion centers connect to each other. And your FBI and your other agencies, they all kind of work in conjunction of these fusion centers. So all that intel is all spread around, and they can all get access to everything. So let's see over here. Look at all these Five Eyes. DC is filled with them. Up around Baltimore. Surprised there ain't none in New York. The closest we got's here in Western PA or Eastern PA. Yep, there's your fusion centers. And then it's worldwide. Got a bunch of Five Eyes there in Europe. Got to keep an eye on everybody there. Got one in Guam, old Australia, New Zealand. They got them locked down. Hawaii, Fusion Center, Five Eyes Stone Ghost. Got it in Canada, or Alaska. They do have it in Canada, each coast. They got everything locked down. You got eyes on you everywhere. So I thought I'd show everybody this. This is the Climate Viewer 3D. So if you were to get here at home, the page would open to this. And you have to click Climate Viewer 3D to pop the map open. And there's all kinds. You can look at earthquakes, floods, history and science. There's ancient ruins he has mapped, disease outbreaks, fossil sites, migration. You want to see migration. They even have, historic immigration and stuff. Native American settlements. He has so much information here. Like it description says on the homepage, you have hours and hours and hours of just research or fun, if you consider looking into that stuff fun. That's a site for you, Climate Viewer, the Climate Viewer 3D. If he did hand code all this and put all this together, he did a hell of a job, and it took a hell of a lot of time. I think it's been about a decade or so he's been working on this. So check out Jim Lee and Climate Viewer, good source of information. All right, let's move on here. Here's the DEF CON conference that I showed you the clip of Mr. Theme speaking. This is a good channel. A lot of good information at those DEF CONs. All right. Anything else I wanted to show you? Let me just refresh this page. I still can't believe a call for an uprising. 6 channels. 6 YouTube channels. I don't know how he pulls it off, to be honest with you. It boggles my mind. Alright, there's Quite Frankly, this channel. I just recently subscribed to him. I never listened to him, but when I heard Jim Lee was going to be on there, I wanted to catch it, and seemed like he has some good info every now and again, so I subscribed to him. Alright, there's Unbully the Internet from Alex Shield Jones. Alright, that's pretty much it. So there's old Richie from Langley. He is a mega grifter too. That guy can grift. Yeah, hell, I call him Grift in the USA. Because he just drives around the country grifting on people. Grifting on their garages to fix his truck. Grifting on the Jeebus card for money. Grifting for meals and whatever. He stops at his fans and whatnot. It's pathetic. So, here's the main topic here. Pockets of the Future. He just recently broke 200,000 subs. And looks like he got the 203, which he was hanging around 2,000, 201. So, Pockets of the Future. Let's open him in another tab. And we'll go up here to Apocalypse. Now we'll pop that open right here. So, this channel is my favorite on YouTube. And this gentleman's name is Paul Romano. He practices what's called Heartfulness Meditation. And I do believe the original Indian name, because it's from India, was called Saj Mars. Something like that. But to get Americans interested, they had to name it something different. So they picked Heartfulness Meditation, because the point is about bringing God, the Creator, into your heart, reconnecting with God. And this differs from any of the mainstream religions, or the, what is it, 5 or so Abrahamic religions, they call them. I call them mainstream religions, organized religions. There is a master, they call him the master, but he is a highly spiritually advanced individual who has been given the ability, from God and other higher spiritual beings that are closer to God, to help and portray this transmission from God, which is, I guess you could kind of call it like the loving embrace of God. He sends this transmission to people, and you're supposed to take in the transmission, kind of while meditating, and take it into your heart. Bring God into your heart, and you listen to his videos here. He has videos where he kind of trolls and makes fun of Hollywood. Those are his bread and butter to support himself on here financially. But then he does, he has videos about the Heartfulness Meditation, and he has past videos that explain, what it's about and everything. And I've always questioned organized religion. I was raised Catholic, made to go to Sunday school, go through the whole process, of up the, confirmation, and being a full-fledged Catholic member. And I made it till kind of my senior year, you would call it, in the Catholic process, leading up to confirmation, and I quit. I dropped out. Really, bummed and hurt my mom when I did that, but I couldn't do it. I seen it for the BS it was. They were, making me do stuff I didn't want, making me do stuff I didn't understand. And, I seen that, that something wasn't right here, and I don't want to do it. And ever since then, I have really no connection to the Catholic Church, and I really don't regret it, because as I matured and grown up into an adult, and then had my, red pill awakening period, and then, several years of intensive research into the true reality of the world that we're living in, I've come to the conclusion that, those main Abrahamic religions, mainstream organized religions, they are pretty much all BS. This is my opinion, and like I said, this opinion is not going to attract, people. It's probably going to turn people away and upset people, and probably, hurt my ability to try and build up a channel here. But I'm not going to pander to anybody. So this is my opinion only. You can have any opinion and viewpoint you want, but in my opinion, the mainstream organized religions are BS, and they're nonsense. The Catholicism, the Islam, I don't know what the other 3 Abrahamics are, Buddha or something, whatever. They're just all nonsense. They're man created. Man created those religions. I've heard a lot of research into mainly Christianity and Catholicism. A lot of research I've looked into to that, and from all accounts, the whole Catholicism, Christianity, in my opinion, it's all made up. It was all created by man. It was created by the original Jews. What was it, the Old Testament? It's pretty much a Jewish book. and then they created the New Testament, after the supposed life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Well, the New Testament was written by those Jews. The Old Testament was written by the Jews. And I'm pretty sure, again, it's my opinion, the whole creation of Christianity, the Jesus story, rising up and dying and resurrected, it was all created. It was a created story. Apparently Daniel, who had a big part of doing that, he was a high level Jew. I think maybe even rabbi. So Jewish people in the past, they created the Jesus story, they created the New Testament, and they pretty much created a religion, to get people following, and they're a form of control mechanism. They're able to control people and get everybody in a group and be able to steer large populations through religion. It's kind of like a giant cult, and it's worked beautifully. Look how much power and control the Catholic Church has had throughout the span of time. And I forget, I just heard a good video. Adam Green was interviewing the one leading researcher into the roots of Christianity and stuff, and he said the person that created the Jesus story was pretty much writing a story to kind of sway pagans. It was kind of geared toward pagans to get them away from whatever they were practicing and believing, and get them into this. And it was kind of a Jewish story, the Jesus Christ story. And even if you do just a little bit of research into it, you'll see how Christianity, Catholicism, was kind of mapped after old time religions. I don't know if it's from Babylon or whatever, but the three points, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I forget what else, but like so much of Christianity was just based on old Babylonian type of religions. So it's copied. So not only is it copied, it was written by man, written by high level Jewish people, and you look into the I guess the apostle people or whoever wrote the books. I'm not that familiar. I can't remember it, but like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or whatever the books, you look into a little bit of their history and you find out that it doesn't add up. What they created and what they portray their writings to be. So it's you have a man-made religion. They wrote it, they created it, the New Testament. And then even that, in the beginning, it was created by man. But then throughout time, the church, the power, the Vatican, they, revised it, they changed it. It's been translated into other languages, and then they had council meetings, and voted to take stuff out, to add stuff. And then they had the one big Vatican Council where I guess they did major changes, and and then they have the different versions, the King James, all that stuff, through supposed 2,000 years, up until now, as to what what it currently is now, what they're portraying as it is now. It's so far from what it originally was, and what it originally was is a story, a man-made creation, and it makes me laugh because my belief in what it is being nonsense and But so many people, what do they say? The Bible it's the literal word of God. I'm sorry, but the Bible is not the literal word of God. It's not. There is not one part in that Bible that is the literal word of God. It was written by man. It was altered by man. It was changed by man. It was manipulated by man. You know, all through the ages up until this point here, where they tell you now, this is the Bible that you believe. We've changed it and manipulated it perfectly, and this is the current version, for you. And it's the Word of God, the Word of God. I laugh because if you're a higher thinking individual, and you're a higher spiritual individual, you can quickly and easily admit to yourself that the Bible is not the Word of God. It's just foolish to think that. Uh, any any smart, intelligent, non-biased person would be able to tell you that. But there's, like I said, 2,000 years of indoctrination, into this, one could call it a cult. So that's powerful. That is powerful indoctrination. And we all know how people can get into cults to where they'll kill themselves, because of it. And that's just within their lifetime. This year's thousands of years of cult indoctrination. So people are very, very fooled and influenced by the mainstream organized religions. So what Paul does here, and from the way he's described heartfulness meditation, and from all the research that I've experienced and done on all the mainstream organized religions, this heartfulness meditation makes the most sense about the true God. Because I do believe there's a God. I believe there's the higher power, the creator, the God that created us, created our souls. I believe that, after we die, that our souls live on, and we are higher beings. And there is a creator behind there. And, from all descriptions, this heartfulness meditation makes the most sense, of the true God. And, the way to connect with him. And that's what everybody needs to do, is they need to bring God the creator into their heart and reconnect with them, rise on a spiritual level. And by doing that, you can feel the transmission of love from God. And you can even get answers, to things in, this reality. And you really rise up above. Now, I haven't tried the heartfulness yet. I do want to, but they recommend that, you don't be using any drugs or anything, any mind-altering stuff. And I do like my Delta 9 and my Delta 8. So due to that, I haven't tried it yet. Plus, with the C19, they mostly want you to do stuff online. What they have is they have the master, and then the master kind of blesses, so to say, individuals to be called preceptors, and these preceptors can give you the transmission. And they're spread all around, and you used to be able to meet them in person and have a meditation sitting and have the transmission passed to you. Well, with the C19, they kind of stopped the face-to-face stuff in the meeting, so they want to do it online and through the app. And supposedly, Paul, the way Paul talks, the transmission can be done through the app and through the digital world and stuff, because it's the transmission of love from God. It can be passed and sent anywhere. If you have high enough spiritual power. But I don't want to try it, through the computer and stuff. If I could sit down with a preceptor in person and try the transmission, I would try it. So in the future, if that's available, I'm probably going to try it. If you listen to Paul here speak, he was kind of lost in his life, not knowing what to do until he found heartfulness. And ever since heartfulness, it turned his life around, changed his attitude, helped him mentally, physically, spiritually. He's doing good, making a living. His YouTube channel provides for him that he's created. And he's just had nothing but, good beneficial experiences from it. And, most people, what keeps you in it is feeling the transmission. Apparently, if, you're in tune to it, you can feel the transmission, coming from the Creator, God. So, I'd really like to try it and experience it, but just listening to him, describe the Heartfulness Meditation and, based on the teachings and the wisdom of the previous masters. I guess there's been like 3 or 4 masters, and as each time comes, the master passes, the master token on to whoever's going to be the predecessor. And I think they're on their 4th one now. But based on the wisdom from the past, masters of the system, and everything that I've learned from listening to him and that wisdom and writings and stuff. This one master, he channeled through this medium after he was dead all of these writings to release and stuff, and a lot of good wisdom in there, and just everything I've learned from this channel. I feel like I've risen spiritually by quite a few levels. Paul, where he's at right now, as far as like knowledge and stuff about the truth community, he's pretty close to the same level I am. With I have several years of research under my intensive research under my belt into the truth community here, and Paul is dang near on that level, and he really hasn't done any research. It's all his knowledge is coming from the the Heartfulness Meditation and the spiritual transmission that he's receiving. It supplies him with knowledge. And like I said, me and him are he's a little behind on specific details in the truth community, but he's almost there. And then as far as our reality goes, social dynamic of our reality, me and him are kind of on the same level. He's not into the small talk, so to say, the humdrum, ordinary, everyday life, pretty much the indoctrination that people have been put into of how they're supposed to behave. Societal norms, like all the societal norms that, you're brainwashed to, that's how we act. This is, how we operate. You see people, oh, hey, how's the weather? Oh, yeah, how's your kids? Where are you working at now? What's your job? What's your livelihood? Where are the kids going to school? What government indoctrination school system are you putting your kids? Just all that, just unimportant stuff. Like, Paul has risen above that, and he doesn't like to participate in it, and he finds it useless because, like he put it, he don't care about it. And, so why do it? I'm at that point. I'm nice to people. I'm courteous. If they talk to me, I'm not ignorant. I humor them, Like I said, I'm courteous. I'll hold doors open to people, but I'm above the participating in societal norms. You know, I don't like it. It's a waste of time, in my opinion, and I'm above that. I'm floating above that, and I found that applies to like TV, Hollywood. Like I used to like a lot of TV shows. Uh, just even interesting TV shows like American Pickers on History Channel, where it's kind of antiques and stuff. And that show currently still isn't that bad, but like I used to watch a whole roundabout, of TV shows and stuff. And now that I've advanced, like I would say advanced spiritually, but as I've gained more awareness, to the true reality of this world, none of that stuff interests me now. Like I pretty much watch zero television now. It's like I've risen above it. All that stuff is to distract you and to keep you occupied. It's bread and circus. It keeps you complacent and compliant, and participate in your enslavement. Tax cattle. Go to work. Bust your butt. Physically exert yourself to make money, so you can pay the system, and then come home and bread and circus yourself. In your downtime. And if you're lucky, you get to spend time with your family, because they're usually off in the government indoctrination school system, and the other ones are working to pay the system too. So I've just risen above all that. I don't very very limited television and shows now. Pretty much all my free time, if I'm able, is just more research in the truth. Watching more truth channels, and getting as much information as possible. Before you can't get information anymore. And then taking all that information and discerning the likely real truth out of it, because it's like all limited hangout out there now. So that's the overview of Pockets of the Future and the Heartfulness Meditation. Let's see if he has playlists. He might have created some playlists. Okay, the journey. This is him. He goes through talking about his journey on the Heartfulness system. And he's currently, kind of battling, so to say, with the upper people in the Heartfulness system, trying to get them to change their methods to attract more Americans. Because they want to attract more Americans, because it's mostly an Indian type thing, but they really want more Americans, because the end goal is to have everybody on the planet practicing this heartfulness and connecting to God. And by doing that, that would change the world. Everybody would, be on a higher level with God, and we might very well have peace. And a big part, of spreading is to get, more Americans. So he's kind of been in a battle with, ways for them to do that. And they keep failing miserably, and they won't listen to anything he says, pretty much. So he goes through a big journey, and kind of lays out, his whole journey, and a lot of history on the meditation, and a lot of good stuff. So if you want to learn about the heartfulness, I recommend you listen to Paul here, and his viewpoints on it. Just listening to him, like I said, and listening to the wisdom and writings of the previous masters, and then embracing that knowledge, trying to utilize it myself, personally. I feel like I've moved up many levels spiritually. Um, I try to, do my own meditation, to God, you know, come in, contact the Creator on my own terms, try to open my heart up and let Him in. Even though I'm not participating in the heartfulness system or getting the transmission or anything, I try to open my heart and, let the Creator's transmission in anyway. You know, it's out there, kind of like Wi-Fi floating around, the transmission from our God, the Creator, and you can open up and let it into you, and a lot of reflection on that, in the true, God and our true reality. Um, I feel like it's helped me a lot. I feel like I've advanced, up spiritually. So if it can do that to me, it could help somebody else out there. So if you're interested in that, there's the playlist. Um, I catch all his videos, all the videos he puts out. I catch. He has good humor. Like I said, he sees things, from a truth perspective, and he's pretty close to being on the level with me, truth wise. And he likes to call Hollywood out and all their nonsense. And so it's a good comedy channel and a good spiritual channel, and that's why it's my favorite on YouTube. So if that appeals to you, it might be your favorite. And his other channel is, like I said, it's just a backup channel, but he posts stuff on there too. And it's just kind of more, kind of making fun of Hollywood, trolling. And, you might say, well, trolling and stuff, that's not very spiritual, but, it's not. But, you got to take a little bit of humor into it. And he explains it numerous times. He addresses that question. So you watch his stuff, you'll get it. And that's the main channel I wanted to shout out here, because, like I said, his information and his content it's majorly helped me. Mainly on a spiritual level, and it's my opinion that we all need to get to a higher spiritual level out there. That's what's gonna, break us free from, these chains of enslavement we're in. You can't change the world until you change yourself. So you need to look inside yourself, and you need to make changes. And you need to change yourself into the world you want to be. And, if everybody does that, looks in their self, reflects on their self, and changes and strives to be higher spiritually and, connect with God. If everyone did that, then the change in the world, it would make itself, evident. It'd be clear, because, everybody else would be, striving to be, higher, to be a higher spiritual being, and the change would just manifest from there. So, that's where you start. That's where you start making change in yourself. And, I do believe that change is, a spiritual in nature. If there's any atheists out there, I don't know what to tell you, but I do believe there's the God, the Creator, and we are spiritual beings, and we are destined for higher things, and we can obtain those higher things and higher levels here, in our the supposed real world. We can achieve those here and now. We don't need to wait until our soul passes, and goes back to, the main God, energy. We don't have to wait until we, what would you call it? Our soul goes and kind of absorbs back in, to God. So we can reach that here on this plane. So I hope everybody thinks about that a little bit and looks in themselves and maybe start initiating some change. And there's a lot of wisdom that comes with that then too. Like I said, you start seeing things clear. You rise above the matrix they have us in. Um, you know, it's like totally breaking out of the matrix. Um, Kind of like you're floating above. You know, so I found it highly beneficial, and um, I hope for the day. I hope the day comes quickly that I can try the heartfulness meditation and experience the transmission. If it's everything he says it was, um, I would love to experience it. And that's all the further I'll go into it. I was gonna when I said this type of connecting with God is the most legitimate that I've heard, compared to any other religion, and it's because there are no middlemen. It's between you and God. Even the master of the system um, is not really needed. The transmission from God still flows. Whether the master is sending it or not. It's like Wi-Fi. It's everywhere. So there's really no organization to it. Even though they build a little organization around it, just because it's necessary to operate and try to spread it out to everybody. But um, it's free. There's no tithing. You don't need to donate. A lot of people do donate, but it's absolutely free. There's no charge. There's no middlemen. There's no pastors or priests or popes or it's nothing. The whole purpose is to connect you with God, and that's the goal. The goal isn't to make shekels off of you. It isn't this or that. It's pretty simple. Connecting with God, and is that it just makes sense. All my experiences in my life leading up to now, this viewpoint of God and the spiritual world and our creation and everything, it just makes the most sense. Um, the Catholicism, the Judaism, the Islam, none of that stuff makes any sense. Like I said, it's you start critically discerning it, critically analyzing it, it ends up to a bunch of nonsense and not very believable um, to a highly intelligent individual. So this, in my opinion, is the probably the most accurate, outlook towards a God, the Creator. That's just my opinion. You come to your own conclusions out there. Um, and if you're a Catholic or you're a Christian or whatever, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, so be it. I'm not saying that good things haven't come from organized religion. There's a lot of people that, they're really good people because they abide by, Christian values or Catholic values. And those values, keep them good people, and they raise their family like that. And their family, grows up to be good people. So, if that's what you need to be a good person, then, more power to you. Keep doing it. Like I said, I'm just giving my opinion and giving you my assessment, based on, my life and my research and, what I've come to believe as being the truth, in regards to God, a creator. And, in my opinion, this heartfulness meditation seems to be the most accurate to me. So that's all I'm gonna leave it there. like I said, go subscribe to Pockets if you like them. And I guess we'll leave it at there. That was pretty much my main point. And the other stuff about the other channels, that was just kind of a side note. So I apologize if this video is a little boring, but I felt it important to put out the Pockets of the Future with the Heartfulness Meditation. Because, like I said, that's spiritual nature. The change needs to start with the individual. And, the major change is, connecting with God spiritually. And I believe, the answers to our future, us, opening our eyes and changing the future for our children, our children's children, to get us out of this slavery, the enslavement that we're currently in. I do believe a major part of it is going to be on a spiritual level. So that's why I did this video, and I want people to think about that and take it to heart, take it into your heart with the loving transmission of God into your heart while you do it. So that's it for Gold Pill today, folks. Everyone take care. Strive for that higher spiritual nature and find the gold pill. I'm out. Peace.